Good day, folks. Welcome to another episode of Step Into Your Power with Brother Jimmie and Sister Honey Golden. We're so happy to see you all here today. Hope you're having a wonderful and blessed day. Today's episode 16, Walking in Divine Timing, Nothing Delayed, Everything Right on Time. So we are going to get into that subject today. I know that's something that is a little challenging for a lot of people to do that, but it's so important that we all do that. But before we get into that, please like, comment, share, follow, or subscribe, depending on where you're watching this. Do that for us, please. Share it so you can help others that need help. Lots of people are asking questions. Lots of people have a lot on their mind right now and they're looking for answers. So we are here to help do that. First thing we're going to talk about is go to Sister Honey here about this energy, because I got to tell you, even as I'm talking right now, every single thing in my body is just like it's like, I don't want to say itching, but like it just
Buzzing.
it's yes, it's pretty intense what's been
Yeah.
going on.
So we've had a lot of activity. Schumann resonance is blacked out. I mean, as far as I know, it's still in a blackout. It might have shifted by now. But when it goes black, when you look at the Schumann resonance and it goes black, it's because it can't measure it.
Wow.
So we're in a very highly energetic time. And that will just keep amping up because the whole 3-eye atlas, the whole atlas adventure that we're in right now is basically about leveling up. And it brings up a lot of stuff for people that maybe they haven't dealt with yet.
Yeah, even with myself, it's been a while since I've had dreams that I remembered. And specifically last week, over the weekend, I think it was more towards the end of the week, I had two very specific dreams of things that I need to deal with. And nothing is being left behind. Everything is coming to the surface, whether it's childhood wounds, or somebody did you wrong, or you feel that way, you have a victim mentality. You've got things that happened with your parents, things that happened with spouses, things that happened with friends, whatever it is, things in a career, whatever it is, it's all coming to the top. Business partners, I mean, doesn't matter what it is, it's coming to the top to be dealt with. And the fact that you just said that the Schumann, because I just noticed that, because, within the community, stepintoyourpower.com, we've got some beautiful brothers and sisters sharing that Schumann resonance, and they shared it, and it was you could see how high it was, and then it was just nothing. And the fact that and from what I understand with this 3-eye atlas, whatever it is, some people think it's a ship, some people think it's whatever it is causing some definite energy increases. And from what I'm hearing is it goes around the sun, the closest point of the sun is going to unleash even more on us, which is even going to take it to a whole nother level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the sun basically is releasing codes to us, and it has been for a very long time. And first, this was thought it was going to be one day, one solar flash, which you can see now how detrimental that would have actually been to humanity if we did all of this in one day. And when I tuned into it years ago, it was supposed to happen in one day, but then people would be recovering for months afterwards. So we had a timeline shift. That is not the case anymore. And basically, from the time that I predicted it was going to start or happen, that's when it started, and it's been spread out for years. So we're still in the solar flash, and basically a huge download is coming. And it will be through the being atlas, not necessarily the narrative that we see from, the conventional narrative that's being broadcast, but it will be from the being atlas, and it will have to do with the sun as well. So it's, yeah, big.
Yeah, I feel it. And again, I do a lot of grounding. I do a lot of breathing. I do a lot of meditation. I do a lot of praying. I open up my energy portals. I give blessings and love to my energy portals for working so perfectly and being a perfect frequency, and I'm feeling it, and I know that others are feeling it. I'm watching what's happening in my own family, and I'm watching what's happening with brothers and sisters that are in the community and what they're going through and the struggles they're having with all of this. But one of the things that's so important is that, and it's going to increase, so not even, it's going to increase. We thought last month we were looking at the whole situation and felt, wow, look at all these things in the heavens, right? Signs and wonders in the heavens that are happening. The blood moon, all this stuff that was going on in September. And then October opens up. And was the blood moon in the beginning of October, or was that September?
I think it was September.
Because my timeline is just like,
Yeah, I don't keep track very easily, but I think it
it
was September.
And so now all of these signs again in October, and it's just going to get more intense as November rolls in and December rolls in, and then you're looking at a peak cycle of the sun. So what I would say to all the folks out there is, hopefully you've got a grounding mat. You're out, hugging trees and getting your feet in the soil and the sand and the ocean, taking some salt baths. Going into step into your power, getting into the energetic hygiene, energetic cleansing stuff in there, and working on your energy, because your nervous system is going to get overloaded if you don't deal with this excess energy, even if it's meditating and doing the roots into the earth and the golden roots, and grounding yourself in a meditation. It's really important to spend time every day, focusing on yourself in a big way. You need to do it. I mean, when we started these episodes, now this is the 16th one, and we had only 2 weeks that we didn't have one because you were traveling and I was traveling. But when we started these episodes, the energy was off the chain then,
Yeah.
and now it's like, it's tenfold, and it's getting ready to increase even more. So what's your suggestion? And maybe we can do a little bit as we get ready to get into some meat and bones in this, meat on the bone in this episode, of what people can do just to kind of relax right now. Because like my mind and how I feel, like, I want to say jittery a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your body will be jittery if you have things you still are letting go of. And everybody is experiencing that at one time or another during this process, because there are things, and some of us, like, we're not even aware of how deep some of these things are. Like, your inner child may have been hiding it from you for a very, very long time, and it's deep in the subconscious mind. But it will pop up to the surface as it's being cleared, and this may manifest in kind of a not so nice way. Like, you might gripe at someone, you might feel bad about yourself in that moment. Just really remembering that we're in a process of releasing and continuously release. And we also have the cellular memory that's releasing. So think about those codes. Your body's made of light. It's 99% empty space, believe it or not. So as those codes come through that empty space, they're clearing things. And as they clear, you're shifting, you're changing, and you're letting go of things you don't need anymore. Just like if you were clearing out the closet or taking the car in for maintenance, you're clearing things that don't work. And the whole world is at such a high vibration now, and we're moving into a time where all the 3D constructs are going to be gone. And that will take time, but we're watching it really happen fairly rapidly. And it's a time not to pay attention to that as much as being thankful for it and paying more attention to yourself and your own inner world and how much you love yourself and you're willing to take time to take care of yourself. and not pressure yourself into, I need to hurry, hurry, hurry and do this, that, and the other thing, because that's not how life is going to work anymore.
Yeah, that's something that I'm dealing with right now. Of course, Sister Honey, it's patience, and patience for when you're looking at somebody else that triggers you, or you get into a battle with somebody, verbally. You got to look at, okay, what does this mean to me? Like, what is this reflecting on me? What do I need to deal with in order to get past this? Because one of the things that I take very seriously as the divine creator is reorganizing my life, business wise, completely, by the way, which is fine. I mean, I love it. I love what he's reorganizing. I love it a lot. I'm really great. I'm going with the flow, but it's also letting go of the control,
Yeah.
right? That, we're talking about walking in divine timing, nothing delayed, everything right on time. And that's the thing. We have to just give that over to the divine within us, because it's interesting. That the divine's in us, we're in the divine's everywhere, and everything's made up of it, and without it there would be nothing. So we're part of it having experience, and we have parts having experiences, all this stuff. And I mean, the more you get connected with that relationship, the more downloads we're getting. Now we're getting hit with all these codes simultaneously, and all of this stuff is coming up at the same time to deal with. So that's why it's so important that people really take care of their energy hygiene and get into like a community like Step Into Your Power, where you have people that'll love on you and pray for you and send you good energy, and you can share things, positive things, because in the Step Into Your Power, we focus on the new earth. We don't focus on the crumbling. We are aware of the crumbling. We welcome the crumbling, but we're not going to give our energy to the crumbling. We're giving our energy to the new earth and helping other people, other folks with their journey. Not that we're doing their journey for them. We're not doing their journey. We have to do our own journey. But at the end of the day, we're giving tools within there and support and community, which is huge, and it's only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. It's all about community. It's all about getting back to our roots, and you'll find help and support in there. And that's what I love about what we're doing with stepintoyourpower.com and the free community, is that you're seeing people actually, it's helping them. It's not like they're going in there and getting no help. The folks that are actually utilizing the portals and the tools within them are seeing significant progression, which is
Right.
great. I mean, it's all them, because everything is all you, right? Your reality is 100% your responsibility, and stop trying to blame it on other people if that's what you're doing. But that's the good news, that your reality is your 100% in your control. So if you want to change it, change it.
Yeah. And it really is about who you're with. So we're in the middle of a massive change on Earth, and it's a consciousness change. So, who are you hanging out with? Who are you communicating with that's encouraging you to make it through that change in the best way possible? And that's what I see Step Into Your Power as, is this beautiful communication place, this app that basically helps us go through that process in a more graceful way. And the future of Earth is to be joined together doing different things. And that might be that you're going to be somebody that goes and communicates with the trees, and you want to take 20 people each time you go. And that might be the purpose that you came here for. And maybe you write about it, and maybe you change the whole perception of what a tree actually is. So those kind of things are really important right now, is kind of stepping into who you are. And when you're supported, it's easier to do that. And that's the whole purpose of this platform.
It is. It is. And, I have a note here I have my episode notes. So, folks, yeah, I'm going to look at the notes once in a while, because I want to make sure I touch on all of the points here. But it's interesting. It's, remind seekers, which are you're all seekers, that divine timing is never about delay. It's about perfect alignment. So when you're in perfect alignment to receive what you feel you've been waiting on, it will happen. If you want it to happen sooner, you have to have your alignment with it sooner. And we all get better at doing that as we practice, but it's so important. You are not waiting on time. Time is aligning with you. So that's what's happening. And really, when you're out of the 3D, there is no time. And even time is collapsing now based on what I've been seeing, because it went like Friday to Friday. And I was like, oh, what happened?
I know. It's so fast right now. And you feel like, oh, I got all this done today. And then the next day you'll feel like, well, I got nothing done today. I don't know what I was doing today. So you're going to have those moments, and it's all about alignment. And if you're in self-care that day, like I was in self-care yesterday, and I was doing something for my own body, and I didn't pay attention to hardly anything else except for that, and stayed in my pajamas the entire day. So when you're in that kind of mode, you're not going to be thinking about all the things that you need to be doing all the time. And that's actually very beautiful, because it's a recharging moment. And don't be afraid to recharge right now, because a lot of things are in flux as these energies keep coming in. And don't create stress for yourself about all the things that you need to do and get started, because they are happening. And maybe it's just the inspiration that's happening right now and the learning, but it doesn't mean that a lot of things couldn't culminate in one day.
Yeah, it's important. And this is something that myself personally, I'm learning to do better and better every day, is rest. Because, coming out of, I don't want to call it's not AAA, because I was a workaholic,
Yeah.
so it wasn't AAA, workaholic. So that would be WAA, I guess, workaholic. So coming out of that, and always feeling like I need to get something done. Like, I take this community and the people that are involved in it very seriously, because I know it's from the divine and we're just stewards of it. We're here to help, we're here to guide, we're helped to be bridges and lights as the crumbling continues to crumble and accelerates crumbling, because it can't stand in this frequency. It just can't. We're all dealing with what we're dealing with. All of us are dealing with it. I mean, I've been doing this for decades and I'm dealing with it. I know other people that have been spiritual for 30 years and they're dealing with all kinds of stuff that they didn't deal with before. They're dealing with it because it's all coming up to be dealt with, because you cannot move to the new earth with this old baggage. And the more you spend, like Sister Honey was saying, she took time for herself to rest and let these codes absorb into her body. This is one of the areas that I'm working on, spending more time on resting. I'm not going to say whether I'm doing a good or bad job. I got a lot of work to do it much better, that's for sure. But it's something that's important. And as this energy increases, you're going to, and I don't want to say it's downtime, because it's really not downtime. It's really allowing all of this energy and all of these upgrades to your DNA and everything, your whole system, to take hold and assimilate. That way you don't burn your nervous system out.
Yeah. Yeah. The nervous system is key. That's your electricity system for your body. And you really don't want it to be on high alert right now. Like, whatever you can do to take care of yourself and take care of your nervous system, and look into different ways of resetting the nervous system if it does get haywire, like breathing, grounding, even just pausing and taking a big breath. Because what happens when your nervous system goes offline or goes into fight or flight, the whole front of your brain quits working. And it really isn't good for decision making or for being able to handle your triggers when they're in front of you. So if you get triggered, take a breath and then start to think about, well, what does this mean and how can I let go of this trigger? It's in front of me for a reason.
Yeah, it's it's interesting because I've had a couple trigger sessions going on here in the last week, and because again, the patient thing for me is still happening because I'm a kind of guy. I was raised to get it done. Get
Yeah.
her done. That was my motto. Get her done. And I go into companies and fivefold their revenue based on evaluating all the departments, seeing where all the holes were, putting all the holes on. I have two big whiteboards in my office, putting all the holes on the whiteboards, organized under each department, and then organized by priority, and then delegate out and make sure it got done and continue that process ongoing. So this is how my life has been. Since I got out of the military, I've been in this type of environment. And so as the main thing, my higher self, oversoul, whatever we call it, okay, my main thing that has all these fractals of me having all these different experiences, which the main thing is part of the divine, and so on and so forth, and so on and so forth. We're all connected. Every single one of us on this planet in all of creation is connected because we're laying on top of the creator
Yeah.
within us and outside of us. So we're all connected, all of us. But that's one thing is, taking it easy, taking a break, relaxing, understanding that, you know, um, creation unfolds in divine rhythm, not in human urgency. I have that note. Okay. So even for myself, that hits right here because sometimes I do catch myself that I want to get it done,
Yeah.
and I'm I'm not making the appropriate time of rest besides the time that I sleep at night. And look, if I do not want to wake up at a specific time, I will sleep later. But it's more than that. It's more than that. When you feel this tingling, you feel dealing with these triggerings that you're having, you feel all of this coming up for you to deal with. Like I've spoken before in public about, my father being physically and sexually abused as a boy. I never even knew this until I was 17 and a half years old. Right. But my father was reliving his life through me, his childhood through me. I had to play every sport. I had to do all these things. And he was also a Golden Glove boxer. So believe me, if I eyeballed him wrong or I did something wrong, it was, it was not a pretty thing. So I got on, and a lot of us, Generation X got, raised with the iron rod, baby boomers too, but, the iron rod, spare the rod, spoil the child, whatever. But at the end of the day, um, me and my father were best friends when he passed at 54. I let all that go.
Hmm.
I just let it go for myself, for me, right? For me, because a lot of people don't let things go for themselves. No matter who hurt you or who wounded you in your life, regardless of who it was, your parents, your spouse, your business partner, your friends. It's like what happened with me and the llama. We built this huge organization of 40,000 people. And then I find out the llama's on the dark side and he's doing unethical things. And I'm like trying to get involved to stop that from happening. And he don't want to have it. He don't want to listen to it to where he completely ignores me. And I have to get my attorney involved and send him a cease and desist letter. And then that ends the relationship. But it's okay. And then I hold off on bringing the spiritual community back out for over 2 years until the download came and smacked me upside the head and said, it's time. And that's what this means too. Creation unfolds in divine rhythm, not in human urgency and divine timing. So it wasn't meant to happen before. It was meant to happen exactly how it's happening now. And that's where more trust comes in, to know the divine's within you and you're within the divine, and it knows way more than you do about what you need to do to get to where you need to go. And just surrendering to that go with the flow is something that you have to work on.
Yeah. And go with the flow is really important. And also knowing that sometimes people fall away. So for years, that's been happening. And all of us have experienced that. And some of us have experienced that in a very public way, in a very painful way. And some people have just been experiencing it in their normal lives. So it's been very interesting and sometimes extremely painful, and lots of betrayal has happened. But we're really through a lot of that at this point. And even when somebody does decide that they don't want to be a part of what you're doing, it's not as hard as it used to be because we're accepting it easier. And I think that's important. And also, we're starting to realize that this is part of the process of ascension. It's part of the shifting, and people are choosing, well, how fast do I want to ascend? And how fast does my inner child want to ascend? Because that's really the key. Your inner child is actually the key to it all, because we're here for humanity, which is the inner children. And these big souls have come in and we're basically doing all of this guidance. So the guidance is what we're doing in Step Into Your Power. And the guidance is what we're doing when we're just talking and we're sharing our energy. And we're really loving the energy that's being shared right now, because people are so beautiful and they're starting to step into who they are. And I just love it myself.
Well, when you know that others are part of the divine also, it's one of the reasons Christ said, love your neighbor as you love yourself. And
Mhm.
there's other things like the kingdom of heaven is within you. The Father's in you and you're in the Father, even though that the divine creator, infinite creator, source, whatever, is everything. So
Yeah.
putting a he or she on it is not even close to what it is,
Mm-mm.
and the power and the love and all of that it is. And it's interesting. What are the things that people, they want to manifest something, and they need to understand that there's going to be, now manifestations happening faster than it ever has, both positive and negative. You got to be really, really careful when you're hating on someone or you're talking nasty to someone. That isn't only going to come back to you at the same amount. It's going to come back to you maybe 5-10 fold. So
Mhm.
you got to be really super careful. And then when you are manifesting something that's positive, you've got to understand that there will be some stillness in between that manifestation, and be grateful for it, and
Mhm.
be grateful for all of these things that are coming up that you're dealing with, because we all have to deal with them. Sister Honey's dealing with them.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm reversed here on the thing. I'm dealing with them. Lots of people are dealing with them. I got my precious, beautiful wife dealing with them.
Mhm.
Okay. I see a lot of brothers and sisters in the community dealing with it. We got to deal with it. We got to get ourselves prepared, because the energy is just going to continue to increase. Disclosure is going to continue to increase. The crumbling is going to continue to increase. It cannot survive in this frequency. And is it going to all happen tomorrow? No, it couldn't all happen tomorrow. It has to be brought out gently. It was what I was getting some downloads about the Vatican, and that it's going to be eventually a beacon of light. Can you imagine that? A beacon of light eventually? I'm not saying tomorrow, but I'm saying as these things start coming out, as priests and nuns are getting more spiritual in the Vatican and more information is starting to flow up. Because remember, the Library of Alexandria, the books of Enoch, I mean, there's so many things down deep in the Vatican.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, tremendous amounts of spiritual information, mystic information, information that they didn't want us to have, because you can't control people that are stepping into their power. You can't control them. And you know what I mean? It's just because we're part of God. You know, God made us
Yeah.
in His image. What does that mean? Okay,
We
we're in
carry
God
it
and
in.
God's in us. What does that
Mhm.
mean? I mean, so we are going to start seeing that stuff coming out little by little by little by little by little. Why does it have to come out little by little? Because people can't handle more than that at one time. Someone like myself can handle much more than most people, and same thing with Sister Honey, but the average person could not handle a disclosure dump from the Vatican of every single thing that they have within, say, a month. It would blow their minds. It would damage a lot of people. So this stuff has to be gradually brought out. And I've been talking about, this could be a decade project here of coming out. I mean, it's going to accelerate, but I'm talking
Mhm.
about, I believe, through this Pluto in Aquarius, 2044 is when that leaves. And it came in at 2023, bopped in and out. Then it came in steady in 2024. And every time you look at a Pluto in Aquarius, it happens every 248 years. You can go on to Google, go on to ChatGPT, put it in there, see what happened the last 2,000 years during this period. Huh. It's mind blowing. It is life changing. It is pillar changing, society changing in every which way but loose. And this time, it's going to make all of those times look like a Sunday picnic.
Yeah. And that's because so Earth was pulled into a vibration that we call third density. So intense, dense, and also a world of forgetting who you are. So over this next several decades, we'll be remembering more and more. But the biggest thing is that people will be changing more and more. So we at first will discover very big things. And by the end of the 2044, we'll probably know how to heal our own bodies with a thought. So think about the progression of that. And also think about like how much interaction will we have with other beings by then? So a lot of people will say, "Oh my God, I need everything to happen right now." And a lot of things are happening right now. And they're being mentioned already, the things that will happen very quickly. But the things that will happen slowly over that period of time, over the next 20 years, are going to be mind blowing. And if we go from that to where we'll be by then, we're already in the ascended state. So we're just growing now and we're letting go of the old. So when that's gone, we're creating the new. So what do you want to create over the next 20 years?
Yeah, and don't be impatient where you
Mm-mm.
want everything tomorrow. I hear a lot of these folks, and I love everybody, as long as you ain't hurting children and doing evil stuff like that. I love people. And I don't get involved in arguing about religion and all of that. It's all about the relationship. But at the end of the day, you need to work on yourself.
Yeah.
Sister Honey just said something about the healing. Well, yeah, we can heal ourselves. I mean, Christ proved it on this planet, and other entities that have been on this planet have proved about healing. Okay, healing, no doubt about it. And you are the med bed. You are the med bed. But if you're not working on yourself, if you're not breathing through this, you're keeping your energy hygiene. If you're not praying or meditating, however you do it, however you build the relationship with the divine that everybody's in, and it's in everybody, and it's everybody's part of it. If you're not doing that and you're not breathing through all of this and you're not working on yourself, then as these these upgrades are happening, you're not going to get the full benefit of them. And again, everybody's at their own pace in their journey of this ascension. So maybe this time around, it ain't meant for you. Maybe you'll have to leave this time around and come back again as a baby and go through the process again. That might not be as hard on you this time, right? That you'll learn. But the thing about it, it's interesting, is that we were supposed to live thousands of years before we needed another whatever. You know what I mean? We're eternal beings.
Right.
And I'm 60 years young. I'm like a teenager. I'm like a baby in real time. And it's interesting because we're going to see life extension technology being released. We're going to see people living much longer and growing much wiser in understanding that we don't need to be, we've got to have faith. We've got to just go with the flow. We can't be striving to get everything in fear. Like we're always fearful of all these different things. You got to tune yourself out of fear, tune yourself into faith, and also work on yourself like you've never worked on yourself, but take it easy on yourself, love on yourself. It's interesting, Sister Honey. We can be the hardest person on our own self. I mean, people can be harder on themselves than anybody is on them.
Yeah. And it really stops progress. Somebody asked me the other day in one of the chat groups, they said, "What do you mean by this manifesting?" And I talked about manifesting the other day, and I didn't really clarify, but if you're manifesting through control or fear, so if you feel fear and you want to manifest something, then it's not happening. So if you're trying to control it, if you're always checking on it, if you're always worrying about it, it's not going to happen because you're not in flow and you're not in belief that it will actually manifest. So a lot of times I will manifest a parking spot. I will manifest what I want to see showing up in my feed. I will manifest meeting different people when I go to town or buying different products that, like in Ireland, I'm obsessed with heavy cream in my coffee, right? Because it's really good for you and it's extremely healthy in other countries. And it's still, if you get it here organically, it's okay, right? So I went to the counter and I brought 2 things of heavy cream at what you would call a gas station in the United States. So it had a small convenience store. And the guy said, "Wow, I didn't know we carried that." And I was like, "Of course not, but I wanted it, so it's here." So those are the kind of things that you're capable of. It's only the belief that you need it to show up, not that you need it, but the belief that it will show up that brings it in. If you feel you need it and you're stressed about it, then you're too constricted and your vibration doesn't match the item that you're bringing in.
It's interesting you say that because those of you that are part of the community, seen some of my walk and talk beach videos with my Pedros, brother Bruno, sister Lola, Coco Loco, and Bruno Jr. Bruno Jr. disappeared,
Right.
And he was not in my reality. He was gone, and so I started thinking about him, manifesting him. And I was walking on the beach with the Kiko, who's my wife's friend from when they were little babies. And all of a sudden, there comes Bruno Jr. And he just was right there. And he came up and I petted him and he jumped up and grabbed a hold of me. And it's interesting because even when you're thinking about somebody and all of a sudden you get a call or you get an email from that person. So again, that just shows we're all interconnected. It's even like when I took Kiko, we went on a walk and he goes, "Where's Bruno?" And I said, they're on the beach waiting for us to go swimming. And you know where they were? They were on the beach waiting for us to go swimming. So what you say is very true. And what Christ said, he said, if you had the faith of a mustard seed, you could tell that mountain to move from there and into the ocean, and it would do it. Again, we are created in the divine's image. We are part of the divine. The divine is part of us. We're in it. It's all around us. It's everything. And it's interesting. Again, one of the biggest problems that I see out there with folks is that, and it's with me, and you got to work on it. You got to work on it. Is victim mentality. Like, oh, it's everybody else's fault, but your own responsibility. And I've had this with a bad partnership that was very disrespectful, and I'm looking at it and saying, well, why is this? What's going on here? Let me analyze this. What does this mean? What is this telling me? Like, what is this teaching me? What do I need to do here? And that's how you have to start looking at everything, whatever triggers you, whatever's causing you anxiousness or depression or whatever. You need to question it, not get emotional about it, but just figure out, okay, higher self, divine, Christ. What's going on here? What is this telling me? What do I need to do here to release this? And sometimes it's just saying, send back this thought back to sender. This thought doesn't belong to me. Move it into pure energy. Now that can be thoughts, but things that happened in your past, you got to figure out what's going on, why these things are triggering you, and how are you going to move past it? Because none of these things, none of them that I have, none of them Sister Honey has, none of them that any of you have, will be able to stand in the frequency we're going into. It just isn't going to happen. So it's just going to come up and come up and come up and come up and come up until you decide that you're going to deal with it.
Yes, that's imperative. Dealing with it is imperative because we create everything around us. Like the house that I live in would not be here if I didn't create it with my husband every single day. So just like Dolores Cannon said, if you create every single thing that you see, and everything is made of one form or another of liquid light. It's all made with light. And it's just different frequencies. So whether you know it or not, you create everything around you. And sometimes that's a collective creation. So if Jimmie and I and like 100 other people were in a room together, we would be creating that experience as a group. But if it's just you, you're creating it.
Yes. Yes. One of my notes here is one of my things is rest in faith rather than strive in fear. Mm-hmm. Rest in faith rather than strive in fear. It makes a lot of sense, right? I'd rather be resting and chilling and going with the flow and understanding that the divine is in me and I'm part of the divine, and he's got me covered. It's got me covered. And I just have to understand that anything that comes up, I have to deal with it. And then I got to trust it. Like I was talking about dreams, and I was like, wow, these dreams. I was doing dream interpretation to see, okay, what's going on here? What do I need to do? And there was prayers and affirmations, and I'm doing them because I am super focused on dealing with everything that I need to deal with. But in the time that I need to deal with it, I'm okay with it not all being dealt with by tomorrow morning. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it taking the divine timing, having that faith and rest and not that, that fear and striving to deal with everything. I understand that. But we're all doing that. We all have, and some people fear it, oh, I got to get it done. I got to hurry and, get all these things dealt with. Take it easy on yourself. I mean, this energy's off the freaking chain. As I'm talking here, my hands are all, it's just, the energy's flowing through me like I'm a nuclear reactor, even more than one. It's amazing, the energy. I mean, you feel the energy from me when you walk in my room. There's no doubt about it, but it's intensifying. Okay. And you've got to take care of yourself and do the energy hygiene. That's again why we, this is why we put this together, Step Into Your Power community, stepintoyourpower.com. This is why we're giving this, this is free for you to come in here. Like, of course, if you want to become part of Ascension Mastery, you want to become a guide, you want to be part of what we're doing in there to build the new earth and all of that, yes, you can come in there 100%. But the community has everything that you need with support, community, tools. Where are you currently at? Like, where am I at? Well, you can take the seeker stage quiz and find out where you're at. Well, what do I need to do from here? Well, guess what? We list what you need to do from here. And you just start doing it. And then what you're going to find out is going to happen is you're going to move through these stages at your own pace. Mm-hmm. And you don't need to be hard on yourself. You need to, if you feel tired, you need to relax. If you're getting all kinds of crazy stuff going through your mind, breathe.
Yeah.
Breathe through your nose, 4 seconds, hold it 4 seconds and breathe it out. Pump your stomach when you're breathing in, and then breathe out. And, you're breathing in the good, you're releasing anything that you need to release, and just do that for a few minutes. We have a lot of information within inside the community under the power portal, the practice portal, the prayer circle, all of these things to help you deal with what we're talking about. And all it takes you is a little bit of your time to become a community member, free member.
Mm-hmm. It's really a beautiful time to get in there right now, because not only do we need to work on ourselves, but it's really nice to be with your soul tribe.
Yes.
Like, it's really nice to be able to say something about how you're feeling or about what you think and what you're wondering about. Just being able to just be open and honest without having to constantly think about, oh, is this person going to be able to handle this crazy thing I just said about the fairies? Or is this person going to be able to handle something that I just said about my own vibration? Or I talked to a ghost yesterday. Most places you're not going to be able to talk about that because people won't handle it very well. And a lot of the not handling it very well are people who are being triggered right now and all their stuff is on the surface, or they're there to trigger you and they're not really real. They're part of the hologram.
Yeah, it feels real though, regardless if they're a hologram or they're real. When you're getting triggered, it don't feel like a hologram. It feels like, okay. But at the end of the day, it is taking a pause before reacting. Like, I'll be honest with you, my younger years, I was a tornado. I mean, if you came to me with stupid stuff or tried to attack my family or hurt my people that were working with me, man, you had a pit bull on you. You had a Rottweiler pit bull grizzly bear mix on you quick. It was in milliseconds. And why? Because I was raised like that with a Gold Glove champion dad boxer who used me once in a while for his punching bag, right? So that was kind of ingrained in my DNA. Now I've released that and I take a big breath. I feel like, okay, all right. I don't overreact. I don't answer emails back real quick. I don't overreact to people when they're triggering me. I just calm down, in my mind and breathe through it and then figure out, okay, what is this trying to teach me? What is this? What do I need to deal with here? What do I need to deal with? Because apparently I'm in control of my own reality and this is sitting over in my reality.
Yeah.
So what do I need to do about that? How do I need to handle that? And that's so important.
Yeah. Well, we did that episode about the pause, and I think that would be a great one to go back and watch, because just taking that breath, just taking that moment to disconnect fight or flight, it's so big, because then you can look at, oh, how am I triggering this? Or is this their thing? And do I need to be triggered by this? So just thinking about that, because the energies are wild and there's so much that's being released right now. It's like you know how you get boxes ready and you're going to take them to some sort of place like Caring and Sharing or whatever, those places where people, the Goodwill.
Goodwill. Yeah.
Yeah. And you take these boxes, it's like we're releasing 5 boxes every day right now. And it's either coming from your cellular memory, from your subconscious mind, from your inner child, or it could be coming from your big soul that has all these shadows that it's still releasing. So there's so much that's being let go of. And sometimes you're even picking up from the field somebody's stray thought because it's so intense and it could be really icky. So just taking time to pause is really big right now.
Yeah, one of the good things, I do a lot of tapping,
Mm-hmm.
and it really helps me a lot, tapping, and I've been doing it for years now. And it was interesting, one of the folks in Step in Your Power did a video on tapping with the brain to get the brain equalized, basically working both
Mm-hmm.
sides of it simultaneously. Very powerful to, as going through my youth, because I was raised in a very religious household. I was told that karate was from the devil, yoga was from the devil, meditation was from the devil, chakras or energy portals, whatever you want to call them, are from the devil. But what you said about us being light beings, they've looked at us under the most powerful microscope, and all we are is vibrating light.
Yeah.
Right, we're vibrating light, so we're light beings, right? And
Mm-hmm.
we're not. The soul is, again, I think we talked about this, that the soul is, yes, you have the child soul within this body, but you're in the oversoul.
Yeah.
You're in the oversoul. It's not that it's in you. You're part of it. You're in it. And it's in the divine. So we're all in the divine. We're all connected to each other. So you got to really, really think about when people trigger you, and what you need to think about. How does that, what is that, what's going on there, and deal with it. But also practice your breathing, practice your meditation, practice Tai Chi, practice things that bring you peace.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to frequency healing music. We got beautiful frequency healing music in Step Into Your Power. Listen to that. And get crystals, get stuff, get the band from the Energy Wellness, get stuff that helps your environment, create your sanctuary in your home where when you go in there, you feel peace. You got it, it's flooded with positive frequency. It's just a place for you. You deserve that. Every place I have that I'm living, like whether I'm in Austin or I'm in Las Terrenas, Dominican Republic, I have my sanctuary room.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone knows that you don't go in Dad's sanctuary room with negative attitude or negative things, because my energy will throw you right out the door real quick. But you got to have one of these places in your home for you, where you can light a candle, you can have your crystals, you can have things that protect you from EMF radiation, you can have, just research. Like right now, I'm looking at different materials and the mixing of materials like clothing, like linen and cotton, all organic stuff, and the frequency, because polyester puts off the dead body frequency, and they got us covered in this plastic. I mean, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous. It's in our food, it's on our bottles of water, it's everywhere. This plastic everywhere. It's in our clothing, it's all over. So I've been looking at that because I'm really, really focused on cleaning my energy up around me,
Mm-hmm.
which I feel will help me tremendously. If you're wearing linen, or you're wearing silk that puts out organic silk that puts out 10,000, I think, hertz.
Yeah.
And what is a human body, a healthy human body, like 74 to 80 some hertz or something like that, I think.
Yeah. I think it can reach 100.
So you got cotton on that's
Yeah.
organic, that's helping you increase your frequency. You put silk on that really helps you increase your frequency. You have linen, which I don't like the feel of linen, but hey, it helps you increase your frequency. And it used to be in all the hospital beds, the
Yeah.
pillowcases and all that helped heal people. I mean, so I'm really looking at my environment very closely to make sure that I'm cleaning up my energy wellness environment in my home, within myself, and all of the things that I'm doing. And I think that's important.
It's so important. I like to wear my frequencies. So I wear the band and I wear my crystals. And I really love to wear different, different fabrics. And you want to also research what is great to combine with each other. So if you're wearing linen, then you don't want to pair it with wool because they actually cancel each other out. So I usually wear cotton with linen, or I will wear cotton with wool, but I won't wear linen and wool together. So there's just certain things that you want to think about. I know I saw a guy that has this company and he has these beautiful products and he's mixed linen and wool together. And I'm like, it's terrible because he doesn't know what the properties actually are. And he's created this whole thing and is selling it to people. And it basically equals zero. So plastic
Cancel itself
equals
out.
zero. Yeah.
Well, that's another thing. We're doing a lot of education on energy wellness, even quantum energy wellness now, quantum, which even takes it to a whole nother level. So come into the community, we're teaching that. We're posting on it. One of the things I'm going to have my son do, Tommy, is put together an article about these different fabrics and the mixture of them, because he's a really great researcher.
So good.
And he'll put together a beautiful article, and then we'll post it for everybody, just like I did with the numbers article. I've got a numbers article where every single number you're seeing, whether it's 111, 222, 1010, 1212, 2020, believe it or not, 6666. I mean, all the numbers, and as we see other numbers and they're not there, we're adding it to that article. And not only does it tell you what the numbers mean and give you an affirmation for it, it literally gives you the tools, the frequencies, and everything to utilize that are within the practice portal to reinforce what this message is. Because this is a message to you about where you're currently at, and you need to pay attention to these messages. This is another thing that we've all been taught. Oh, that's from the devil. Every time it's something that empowers you, it's from the devil. I'm not saying every time, but a lot of
times.
Yeah, a lot of time. It's because the powers to be want control, and they can't control people that have stepped into your power. When you step into your power, you are, you're not controlled by them in any way, shape, or form, and you have no fear of them. But it's so important to educate yourself on the numbers, which we give you the information on the linen, like what we're doing, the tools we're using. I utilize those tools in there, and they've helped me. I've watched my son Tommy go through the seeker stage quiz and be at a certain seeker stage. And then 3 months later, because he's been implementing tools inside of the community and doing things outside of the community based on the community, helping him also do those and himself helping him do those, right? Because it's all about you.
Yeah.
And he's moved another stage. I mean, and that's happening all the time for people. And that's important.
It is. It's really important. And the knowledge that's coming in is really important. The posts are filled with knowledge. There's artwork. There's, everything is just really beautiful in there, and people are supporting each other with non-judgment, which I think is really important right now. And it's something that the creator doesn't judge. It's very rare that the creator will judge something. And really, it's the souls that judge and basically make decisions. And the creator is there with pure loving energy to support and to absorb knowledge, because the experience is the knowledge. And that's what we're here doing, is experiencing and shifting and changing. So I think it's like the most exciting time to be alive right now, because I'll tell you, when I was 3, I was ready to go. I was like, just get me out of here. Who are these crazy people? And I was ready to get out of here. And now I'm like, okay, finally we're in it and I'm excited. So it's a beautiful time right now.
Yeah, it's interesting because my wife Cindy and I will talk about it where she says, "Oh, I don't want to come back here." I said, "Well, you have to be able to go through what you need to go through in order to have that decision making where you don't need to come back here unless you want to come back here and serve a mission."
Mm-hmm.
That's just the way it is. But I want to read this. When you move in harmony with divine timing, creation flows through you effortlessly. So when you move in harmony with divine timing, creation flows through you effortlessly. And that's something that we all have to always work on as we continue to increase this frequency and we're dealing with what's coming up. Like when you purify gold or silver, what comes up will burn, they burn all of those impurities off. And what's happening right now? Well, the divine is burning all these impurities off. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what's happening right now. And we have to deal with them. And the more we deal with them, and the more time we put into dealing with them, and okay, that one's handled, boom, I'm good. That one, the faster, the quicker you're going to get to a point where you'll be like, you're going to still deal with some stuff. It's going to come up. All of it's coming up. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there's not going to be one thing in your life that if it triggers you or it's a past hurt or a past pain, it's all going to be coming up for you to deal with. But if you don't deal with it, then you're going to be in a loop of it continuing to come up all the time. And as we go into a higher frequency, it's going to be really hard for your nervous system to handle it.
Yeah. It gets harder because we need to let go of it. And really, the best pathway is in. So if you've been avoiding yourself at all and avoiding the healing that you need to do on the inside, that's when it becomes really painful. And then there's more to do as these things come in. And they're really coming in now it's like a flood. So a lot of places in Colorado were recently flooded, and we have a flood of energy coming in. And you have to deal with it. You have to go inside. You have to ask yourself, what is going on with me?
Yes.
Because if you don't, then it's really tough to deal with it later.
Well, or if you're blaming everybody,
Yeah,
you're
that doesn't.
blaming this one for this one and this one for that and this one for this. Because again, it all comes down to one thing. You are the creator of your reality. Everything in it, good and bad, is from your creation. End of story. If you want more good and less bad, you have to deal with the things that are triggering the bad.
Yeah.
And you have to deal with them no matter what. I love dealing with them. I have no problem. I'm getting better at dealing with them as they come back up and loop on me when I need to deal with them more. And it's okay. I understand. And I'm going to continue to work on it because I understand what's happening with the energy and I know where we're headed. And it's going to get a lot more intense. And as people start seeing all of these systems that have been built on the wrong, let's just say the wrong frequency.
Yes.
Let's just say that. From financial to governmental to religious structures to all of it. Let's just say it's all been built on the wrong frequency, a frequency feeding the dark, not a frequency feeding the light. As more of that crumbles, I know a lot of you out there are going to be very fearful. So come on in to us as a community and let us be part of that calm. That's one of the reasons that I'm back here is to be a calm in the storm, in the crumbling, because it all has to crumble in order to be rebuilt brand new. And where it doesn't serve the few, it serves the many. It has to happen.
Yeah.
And is it going to be a Sunday picnic happening? No, it's not. Is a lot of people going to freak out and be terrified and all of that? Yes. That's unfortunate. But we need to know that everything is being dealt with. That means everything personally in our lives, everything in the government's being dealt with around the world, the governments around the world, everything's being dealt with. And every single pillar of society is being dealt with.
Mm-hmm. And we are the phoenix that rises from the ashes of that. And we are also the ones who are building the new. So when you start thinking about what it is you came here for, why did I come to Earth in the first place? Because you had a plan. So when you think about that, what do you want to contribute to this new creation that we're going to be creating together? Because the old agreements have been broken. We're not interested in distortion anymore. So those distorted constructs, they're dying right now, and we don't need them anymore. So, start thinking about what it is that makes you happy, because your happiness, your joy, and your positive creation energy is what's going to build everything that's coming out of this. And it's really cool.
Yeah, and it's, a lot of people will say, well, what am I here to do? And let's just say that you're here to bring your beautiful, positive frequency and energy into the collective.
Mm-hmm.
And by you working on yourself, focusing on yourself, you help the collective because you're putting that energy in where people pull it.
Yeah.
And you're helping others based on helping yourself. Now, when you take that to the next level and you get into something like the community, where you can actually converse with people and share your story with them, share your journey with them, which also helps give people, well, look how this person what they went through, and okay, I can do it too. I can do it too. You humanize the journey and people relate to that, and it's helping someone. And you don't know how many people you help by sharing this video, loving and commenting on people's comments, praying for someone that put a prayer request in. These are very, very important things to do, not because you expect something back, but what I can tell you is you will get something back because that's the way it works. The kinder you are, the more loving you are, the more forgiving you are, the more you focus on being that light in the darkness, being that bridge to the light, the better it's going to be for you too. It's just going to happen. That's just the way it works.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful time, you guys. And you're the most beautiful thing in your world. So cultivate that. Cultivate yourself and take care of yourself as we go through this, and take the time to do it. I mean, even if you're working full time, you still have a little bit of time every day and some time on the weekends to really be with you and really enjoy yourself and your journey. And if you're not doing that, then it's going to feel harder as we go through this, because you deserve to take time for yourself.
Yeah, it's so important that we take time for ourselves. Really super time. Again, that's something that I'm learning. I mean, I would have never woken up years ago when I started. This has been since 2016. It really, my daily prayers, my meditation really was started to become consistent. And then they accelerated to more time, more time, more time. But used to be where I would wake up in the morning and the first thing I needed to do is let me go brush my teeth, eat breakfast, cut my hair, and get to work. Now I actually take in the morning 2.5 hours, 3 hours for myself, to work on myself, to go for a walk, to go to the beach, to get into the ocean, to take care of myself, grounding myself. I am that I am. I am powerful. I am wise. I am love. I am faith. I am forgiveness. I am knowledge. I am courage. I am strength. These are powerful words. And you've got to, I'll say it the whole way I'm walking. We go in and under the practice portal, under you have all these daily affirmations that you can go through and just read these daily affirmations and put your hand on your heart or wherever it tells you and read these daily affirmations and do a morning and night prayer and have gratitude for everything, even the things that are not going well. because they're not being done to you, they're being done for you to move you forward.
Exactly. Yeah, if you're experiencing something hard, ask, what can I get out of it? What can I learn from it? So relationships have been very interesting over the last 5 years. And what can you get out of each experience? Those are important questions to ask.
They are important questions. I'm just looking at my notes before we going to do a little bit of grounding and breathing here to help all our brothers and sisters out there that are having,
Yeah.
this energy overload for sure. But one of the things is, when you do guided breaths, talk about I walk in divine rhythm. You're walking in divine rhythm. Breathe that in, breathe that out. Also, where is my life in divine timing, asking for patience or trust? So me, I have the same. I want to get this done. I got to get, slow down, go with the flow, have trust in the divine that this all will unfold exactly how it needs to and in perfect timing.
Mhm.
That's what we all have to do it. We all have to practice it. It's so super important, right? Very important. When this is something that I wrote, peace enters when you let go of hurry. Makes sense, right? Peace enters when you let go of hurry.
Mhm.
So we've got to stop rushing and hurrying to everything and just be peace. And I understand some people are out there saying, well, I got to work every week and I got to make a living and I got to do all that. Look, all of this stuff, and I understand that. But as the crumbling crumbles more and more and more, things are going to have to be radically changed. And it can't be about people not having the basic needs in life.
Mhm.
If we spent the money to help people have the basic needs in life, as we do destroying the planet and taking each other out, we have plenty of money. There's plenty of money. There's plenty of resources. There's plenty of abundance for every single human being on this planet and in this planet and under this planet or whatever. There's plenty. There's plenty. And so don't feel that there's not plenty for you, because you have everything you need once you tune into it.
Yeah.
Everything you need once you tune into it. If you don't tune into it, then you're not going to see it. But if you tune into it, just like Sister Honey did when she walked into the gas station over in Ireland and got her favorite creamer, when the dude was like, we have this?
Yeah.
It's very powerful. So, Sister Honey, we've been on for about an hour and actually 12 minutes. We want to go ahead and do a little bit of breathing. One thing before we go, nothing delayed, everything right on time. Remember that. Nothing delayed, everything's right on time. So nothing's delayed for you. Everything is in perfect divine timing for you. Over to you, sister.
Okay. So my higher self says, put your hand on your lower back. So one of your hands on your lower back, the other over your belly button. So on your lower back, not your upper back.
Oh. Brother
That's
Jim's
a little
throwing it.
more comfortable. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to bring light into the body. And this light is going to help us stay calm. And it's also going to bring in and allow the nervous system to accept the light codes that are being basically shown to us every day. So go ahead and close your eyes. And I want you to imagine that one hand is bringing in more light and the other hand is releasing the things that you don't need. Okay, so your right hand is bringing in the light and your left hand is releasing the things that you don't need. So I want you to imagine a color. And this color is the pink color of sunset. And it gets really super bright and becomes almost like a hot electric pink. So we're going to bring that light into the body. And that is the frequency that we are carrying now, that's coming into us from Atlas, from the sun, from all the souls that are helping us through this process. Imagine that beautiful pink light, and it's filling up your body, and it's filling up your feet, and then all the way up to your knees, and up to your hips, and all the way up your torso, and out your arms to your fingers, and all the way up to the top of your head. Feel that pink. Feel it in your body. Feel it warm you up. And then we're going to bring in a beautiful, soft, calm blue, kind of like the ocean, that beautiful aqua blue that you see, that you just want to go there. Think about that color. And we're going to grow that color from the junction where your two hands meet. So behind your belly button, you're going to grow that beautiful aqua color, and it's going to swirl out like a whirlpool of light. And it's going to go all the way to the bottom of your feet and all the way to the top of your head. And it's going to keep going out into your energetic field. And that is the calming color that you need for your nervous system. Feel that in your body. And I want you to imagine that little drops of gold are coming into your energetic field now. And they're anchoring those beautiful colors into you. And take a nice deep breath and accept them in. And know that you are safe and protected through this journey that we call life here on Earth and Ascension. You are safe. Feel that in your nervous system. Allow your nervous system to calm down. And for the faith that you need to go through this process, to spread out through your energetic field and in your body as you accept those beautiful light codes. And just love yourself up. Go ahead and take another deep breath. And now you can go ahead and release your hands. Bring them back to the front of you and clasp them together, and know that you're okay.
That was beautiful, sister. That's great. Well, we're excited you all came here to spend some time with us today. We have other things that we will be bringing to the table, like Q&As, interesting stuff that we're going to be doing.
Yeah.
So make sure you get involved in joining the community, the free community, and you'll get updated via email or post back there. We love you all very much. We hope that this episode helps you, and watch it again. Make sure to share it, comment on it, love on it. If you feel that need to do that, please do that. And we will see you here the next time. Love you all very much.
Love you guys.